Hello. Welcome to Peace Pat Paints. I'm Pat. I paint things on the internet. Miniatures, mostly. Every now and again we'll do some other things, models, and it just kind of depends. But mostly it's miniatures. So if you like miniatures and you like miniature painting and any kind of wargaming or RPGing, tabletop RPGing, things like that, this is gonna be your jam. This is us. That's what we do. So thanks for coming. Anybody who manages to find this, that's awesome. It's the coolest thing about the internet, I think, is that like we all get to kind of share in this collective experience. Chill out. Well, I guess you don't always have to chill out. You can get really irate. There's some people that get way too serious on the internet, and that's definitely not us. So hopefully you guys are having a great week. Had a little bit of a weave out yesterday. The internet was. It was in, it was out, it was in, it was out, it was in, it was out. And it's like, man, I couldn't hardly even get like the thumbnail made. That's what it's called, thumbnail. See, I'm learning. So so I couldn't even get the thumbnail. My Canva was not operating because the internet was so. And I was like, man, that is the disadvantage of living out in the country. So anyway, I called them and it's working now. So. My children are back there talking. It's weird. It's like thank you so much, Aaron. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. A little coffee and some water. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hello, my lovely daughter. She's amazing and always a joy. She is there's a Willie Nelson song called "Uncloudy Day." And my daughter is that song is I'm pretty sure Willie wrote it about himself, but that song is really kind of about my daughter because that's her. she's pretty happy all the time, which is awesome. That's what you should be. Anyway, I'm going back to like this format. I tried another format last week. I didn't like that. But I'm always listening to podcasters and things like that tell you kind of like how things work for them. And I'm always down to try out new things, That being said, I bought this new thing, right? This is actually Golden makes this, and it's for your paint tools. Except for your paint caps. It's a tool for taking off and I guess tightening if you really want to. I don't think you really need to use a tighten. But sometimes these things get on there and it is hard to get them off. So this thing's gonna work. It also works for my other ones too, which is awesome. That's just great. That's just this thing is pretty handy. It wasn't very expensive. I got this at Joe's Art-A-Rama. If you're local in Oklahoma City, it's on Penn, just across the street from Penn Square Mall. And they're that's oddly satisfying pulling off. I've always thought pulling off stickers was oddly satisfying. So anyway, so we are going to paint our other Yaun-ti. What's that here? She's pretty awesome. I actually like this one better than the other one. So anyway, she does have a shield and a quiver. We're going to put these on later because the shield, I'm going to put her shield down here somewhere as soon as I get it figured out. Here we go. So that way she's kind of got a shield and all that stuff. And honestly, the shield goes there because it's a golden ratio kind of thing. So we can kind of pull your people's vision into the shield and have it spin around. So we have already done the black primer, which is great. I use a rattle can on this typically. You can use airbrushes. You can also use a brush-on primer. I have brush-on primers. I use those from time to time as well. So whatever you like, but always prime. Always prime your models. Now what we're gonna do is what's called a zenithal highlight, which is pretty easy. The idea is to get it to look something like this. These guys, those are all together. Something like these guys right here. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna create shadows as well as your highlights for you. So it makes it really easy to kind of make things look great. So like this snake, this guy here, what I've been working on as well, done up in the same colors we did the other guy. You can just see where that highlight just pops through, and then the dark, it automatically gives you some more shade on the face. Same thing with the other underneath. So that's all real good stuff. If you're not familiar with zenithal highlighting, or you haven't done it before, I highly recommend give it a whirl. It's not hard. It's pretty easy, and you'll be surprised with the amount of the amount of change it will make in how you're doing things. And you don't always have to do that. I mean, if it's something that you really don't feel like you want to do this, you really want to feel like you want to spend every ounce of energy on something, then yeah, do that. But this will make things, in my opinion, a whole lot faster. So this is a dry brush. I bought this one. It's an army painter. We're just very good, very gently, kind of bring some white on it. We want to show off the scales. We want to show off the crevices. We just want to very barely dust it with the brush. And you're just trying to bring out some highlights. And anything else, if we need to drop some tones and later on, we can always add a wash or things like that to help us. But this will really make painting the miniatures a whole lot faster, a whole lot easier. Now this is a little one. You can use a bigger one. I have a bigger one, but I'm not sure what the heck I did with it. I think I took it with me the other day when I went to went and did a demo for a few people, which was fun. So every now and again I gotta move my box around, and anytime I move my paint box or my brushes and stuff, it's all oh my god, bless what I do with it. That's just life, but that's okay. I've got this little guy. He's actually, this smaller one's probably a little easier for a lot of this. Now you see you got your light's going to come down through here because of the way her head is tilted. So we want to make sure we're bringing that right down and lighting this area too. I might need to get a different brush to get kind of in there on some of that. Or we might have to do it when we get around to that side. Maybe not. I always like to kind of give it a little bit of a test run somewhere, like on my thumb or on the mat, just to make sure I've got enough excess paint off of the brush. Because if you've got too much paint on the dry brush, then it will defeat the purpose of it being a dry brush, and it'll look like you did it with a regular brush, which is definitely not what we want. Another good thing is that you can also start on places where you're going to need some heavy handed highlighting. That's another kind of way to do it. Not my preferred method, that's for sure. All right, so boom, 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 boom. again, remember her shield is going to be there, so that is going to do. That is going to change some of the light. Just a little bit. We don't want to necessarily leave all the highlights in here without any work at all. We just want to make sure that we're not overdoing it. And it's really easy to just kind of overplay zenithals. Now, you could also do this with an airbrush or rattle can. You could zenithal highlight that way. But some of the things I've noticed with that is that, like, I feel like sometimes the it'll wrap, like, because it's an aerosol, the wind kind of pull it around. Or not wind, just general air. It's general air movement. We'll just pull it around, and it ends up kind of sometimes in places you don't want it to be. So I still kind of like doing a little bit of doing my zenithal by hand. You know, it can seem really tedious, because it is. It can seem really tedious because it's hella tedious. Kind of keep leveling it up gently, very gently. We don't want to put too much on there. We want to make sure we got enough to where we can bring some of these darker spots in just a little bit. If it's too dark, you won't see any of the stuff. Luckily, with the way we're going to paint her, we should be able to see most of her scales pretty easily. We definitely want to pay attention to where our light sources are going to be coming down and make sure that is a lot more brushed in. Like I said, rather tedious, but completely necessary and very doable. Really, it's really pretty easy. You might need to practice. I had a friend of mine who he used to use. This is fun. To kind of pull a little bit of the excess paint off before he got started. He would use like an old Lego plate, like an old Lego thing like this big, and you rub it on there. It's a pretty good, neat idea. It's like, it's a pretty neat idea. Pretty good one. And one I hadn't seen before. Okay, so here we want this to be real muted. Just need to pull out a little bit of these features and stuff. All the rocks where there's going to be light sources coming off it. Rocks and minerals. I've been thinking about turning these into like turquoise, pieces of turquoise or something. Jade, or maybe do a couple different things. And this one's got a kind of a fun little jewel thing on it. I don't know what that is. Looks neat. And you know, even if your shadows don't necessarily make sense, that's okay too. You know, if you put your highlights in a place, it's like, oh, that's not how light works. It's all right. It's fantasy world. Plus, most people don't even paint their things anyway. They buy them and they sit on the box. So, if you painted it, always fire that back. Be like, where are your miniatures? Let me see yours. But it's a fun exercise. You really start, it'll make you start looking at light in the world differently. You'll start trying to look at things and say, how does that, wait a minute, how does that light actually work? And you'll get better and better and better at painting that way. And not just, you know, painting miniatures, but painting anything you want. Light and color are that's like the basis of all. That's the basics of all art. You want to, at least visual art, you're trying to move art and color and light. That's what you do. All the rest of it is kind of techniques to do that, really. Whether you're like drawing or you're painting or even sculpting, even you're trying to create the right forms to create the right shadows. Because if your shadows on a sculpture don't look right, then the sculpture is wrong somewhere. You know, and that's how you can create some of these more abstract sculptures. You know, where people are like pulled clay faces and things like that, where you really can get some neat effects. And then, like, if you're looking at like modern art, sometimes if you're not like, I don't really get it, look at the shadow of it, and sometimes the shadow of it is a big part of the project. So yeah, and how that shadow kind of can change over time. Sculptors are strange people. Oh, okay. Shoe. Now onto painting. Painting. I'm gonna paint it. Goodness. Okay. I always find this shows to be very interesting. I'm not. We have people that watch like pretty consistently, which is very interesting. And I never thought that we'd have that. So I really appreciate everybody who does take the time out of their day to watch my shows, even if it's just for a little while. I think that's amazing. I really, to me, humanity is at its best when we're all connected. There's some drawbacks to it, of course, and there are some things we really should work on. But it's better for us all to stay connected than it is for us to kind of come apart. Now, what is this she's wearing? Okay, hold on. Let me get the old man glass out. What is this girl wearing? Looks like some kind of armor. It's very revealing. I love this guy's work, but he, if you don't really know how Spaniards are, this might come as some surprise, but Spaniards really like, a lot of Spanish males culturally really enjoy they really enjoy the female form. There we go. That's the best way to say that. And occasionally they can get maybe just a little bit carried away. Because, like, honestly, snakes don't even have they don't even have them. The boobies. So it's a choice. It's fun. I like that we have girls in the deal, but this guy is really into his pinup model look, which is, I mean, it's cool, but it is also kind of, it's amusing. I get a giggle. I think that's okay. I think we're allowed to giggle at it a little bit. I think that's kind of the point, right? Right under there. Now, we are basing this off of an Indian Cobra. They're kind of a brown color. This was my test colors on it yesterday to see if it was going to work. And I even did a little cobra head and stuff like that. So we're gonna, with this one, she's got a little bit of a larger head, so we've got a little bit more room. It should be a little bit more proud and stuff like that here. But it's good to test it before we went and did it again on the bigger snake. I am trying to get all these snakes done so we have this set painted. I think it might be fun to do like videos for this one and the other abomination, and then combine those videos with all the other ones and do like a big final with, you know, all the little Yaun-tis as well. For the shorts run, I really need to get on that other one. He's done. At least we can get him up. Golf hat. Maybe we should stop going to Whitewater every day. Never. My kids are really having a blast with the season pass this year. If you have kids, I highly recommend a season pass to water parks. if they can swim, or well, I mean, a water park's a good place to start learning how to swim because you're not really swimming most of the time, but you are getting familiar with the water. Pretty good idea. Anyway, it's awesome. My kids love it. They drag me out there all the time. Be shocked if they're not ready to go by the time I get done painting today. They usually, as soon as my show's over, they're like, "Dad!" As it should be. As it should be, honestly. Anyway, trying to get all that done. Good thing here is that this is the same color we're painting the floor. So if we get a few little mess ups, it'll be alright. This is definitely the first layer. Naples yellow, pretty thin, but come back here. That's the way we want to start it out. It's kind of hard to tell, man. She's really kind of rolls that snake thing around her. Would have been easier to do this while it was off the base. Here we go. And up this side. And down through there. Okay. Good thing is you're not really going to see a lot of that. It's nice to put a little color on it. Okay, so next we're going to do, this is a burnt umber. And so a lot of females in the wild, especially snakes and reptiles, a lot of times they are the browner of the two. Birds are this way as well. And it's usually that they're more camouflaged that way. Oh wait, she's got hers like he did. Okay, so scales here, scales here. I gotta keep remembering which snakes are which ways. So we can give her all Naples yellow all throughout that. That would look actually really cool. We're gonna do like a red here as well. But I like the Indian Cobra because it's got, we can kind of do some work on some of her belly scales, kind of give them some coloration, discolorations and things like that. They'll help her be a little bit more unique. Plus, we already did one green snake. They're definitely not all green. They come in all sorts of different colors. I also felt with her being the archer, something like a brown would be a great camouflage for her. You can see how that zenithal highlight is almost doing the work for us here. It's going to leave the dark parts dark and make the light, or the raised parts light. Which is really good for this, something like this, because burnt umber is not a bright color. It's a darker brown. It's a dark reddish brown, and you almost wouldn't see her at all if we had done it. If we don't do a zenithal highlight. Good to be back on. Good to be back on. I hate when the only thing about living out in the sticks is that, like, there's always something going on with the tech. at least it's more consistent than it was when I had another internet provider, and it was bad. So you gotta, like, super careful about internet providers out in the sticks. There's a certain point, I guess, where you only can have, like, satellite. You only get that satellite deal, and that's it. Back up there. I need to have, like, a stand so you can set up in here. Well, I'm drinking coffee, so everybody can actually see what we're doing. I don't know, maybe I'm being weird. Oh. Handbrake. Brake for the hands, not the like hand. Okay. Something got knocked off. That looks like part of Lizard Man. Figure out what Lizard Man lost his tail. Looks like a tail tip. Yeah, because I'm scrambling to get over to those lizard men, because they're pretty neat. And these are all, like I said, these are all Arson Guild, which we have an affiliation agreement with, which is cool. We can actually sell all these pieces, which will be neat. That'll be good for the studio. And at that point, you can sell just prints, which is also really neat. So I might do that for the next show. Have a whole bunch of prints. Just, I don't even know. You could even just, like, do a bits box and print a bunch of bits and just throw it in there, and or a bag of bits. Bag of bits. Would be funny. I think I've seen that a couple times. I don't think I've ever bought a bag of bits. I think I know somebody who probably, if they had the chance to, they probably did. I know a couple of guys that have way too many bits. What are you gonna do with all that? Nothing. Not a damn thing. If you're not gonna do anything with it, get rid of it. Unless it holds sentimental value. Then again, you know, that may be a little too harsh. Sometimes if you find joy in something, you should keep that simply for the joy of it. So I guess if having a bunch of bits makes you feel joy, then have a bunch of bits. Okay, cool. Now we gotta figure out the rest of this booby situation with her boobies. I swear, like, her boobs are half hanging out of this thing. It's kind of awkward. I guess I could paint it to look like that was just one solid piece of armor. This is kind of funny. So I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna paint it as the artist intended. The sculptor intended it to be boobies. So boobies it shall be. Remember, a lot of that highlighting is the zenithaling is going to play out as it dries. So it may look a little funky at first. You mean like, oh my gosh, I ruined it by putting that light color on it. But you didn't. It's okay. Yeah, see, because it's just like straps holding on a couple like little pieces of I guess more straps. I don't know. I don't know if it's leather. We'll figure out what we want to paint it later. But golly, y'all, it's funny. There's a dog. I hear her tip-tapping around. I don't know why those kids don't ever let the damn dog out. But they don't. It's funny. She isn't. If you have kids, you'll understand. If you are a kid, you're gonna understand eventually. You might even understand now. Be like, oh yeah, you should totally be doing that, but I don't. Alright, now right here we've got this is there's a little piece of the supports that held it together were attached to the bottom of that thing. Just make sure I don't have any more hanging out. I thought I saw another one. There it is. And now it just came. Oh, like rolled right off. Looks like. Alright, I think I got him. Oh yeah, she's gonna look stunning with the red and the turquoise. It's gonna look beautiful. Look lovely. Oh my gosh, I think it's trying to... Now the dog's barking at something. I don't know if there's anything out there. The older she gets, the more she just like, she can't see, so she just thinks there's something out there sometimes. Shadow passes over the wall the right way because a car drives by or something, and she's like, "What? What? What is in my yard?" Okay, that's the base coat on all the scales. Oop. Let me go ahead and do all of this in first. Just to have it done. Now, this brush is not like a detail brush, so I'm not worried about if I'm jamming it around a little bit. I replace this kind of brush about once every 3 to 6 months, depending on how much work I'm doing with them. You know, it's good to take care of them. You don't want to be like running around and jamming them and things. But if you're getting sable, they'll last for a good while before they'll start. The tips will lose, it will lose its ability to hold a tip, and then that's pretty much it. But synthetics can fray real easily, so I try to buy sable brushes. Kolinsky, if you can get it, if you can afford it. But for something like this, a regular sable is great. My Kolinsky brushes are usually the finer point brushes. Man. This girl got jewels and stuff all over her, too. She got, like, earrings. She got a jewel there. Another jewel on the ground. There's a lot going on. Okay. Oh, gosh. Now we gotta find a turquoise. What'd I do with it? That's crayon, that's cobalt. Can get put back in here. This is a phthalo blue. This will definitely work. I thought I had a turquoise. I do. I have a deep turquoise. What the scratch did I do with it? There it is. It's hiding under another two. Where's my grippy thing? That I literally just bought to open these two fingers. I think it does make it easier. Way easier on the hands. Alright, turquoise. Deep turquoise. all in me. Oh yeah. Cruising right along. Kind of hard to get down in that one. There you go. Just be patient, patient, and it'll work. It'll all work itself out. Have we ever read a couple looks to what you're doing? I just assume you know what's happening. You can easily paint through something you didn't want to. And then you're stuck sometimes. Sometimes you gotta strip the whole model. Alright, old turquoise. Now some crimson. Alright, alright. Dog is not demanding to be brought back in. Oh, okay. Alright. My goodness. Oh, yawn. Just a touch of bronze. Start figuring out some other stuff. We do this. Alright, so we want that thing that's around the eye piece to be gold. I should have done that. Center is turquoise while I was at it. The rest of this will be bronze. That's got to be leather, right? I can't. Well, I guess we could make it whatever the hell we want. Why not? You're not really going to see it anyway because the quiver goes here. Somehow, some way. Seems like an odd place to put it. Or it's not an odd angle. There we go. We're coming up on the 50-minute mark. We got a lot done in an hour. Tons and tons of bronze. They look really good with all our browns, though. Keep breathing through. Make sure you're paying attention to where you're going. Just get everything colored in. Don't worry about overpaints. Might come back and do a little bit more touching up later. So you make a little mistake, it'll be alright. Happy accidents, like Bobby used to say, right? We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents. Great philosophy. World needs more Bob Rosses in it. Less senator anybody. Less senators, more Bob Rosses. That's my big political statement for today right there. Come back tomorrow. Figure out what we're going to do. Do another round of this real quick. Get this done and dried so we can start applying some washes to it and get it to have the appropriate worn floor look that we're going for. Slightly dirty just because it's stone floor, and that in and of itself makes dirt. People walking on stone floor actually grinds them down very slowly into dust. Alrighty, well. So yeah, we'll be back tomorrow to do the same thing one more time. At least, well, one more time to keep doing this. We get this figure finished. It might actually take 2 more episodes. We might get it all knocked out next episode. I don't know. It really depends. Ooh, I'm sleeping. So yeah, come check us out tomorrow. Thanks for everybody who stopped by watch. If you stop by watch later, thank you. Appreciate it. Really do. It's super neat. Super neat. So hope you guys enjoy what I'm doing. If not, I guess go watch somebody else do something else. I don't know. It's a great thing about YouTube. You watch whatever you want. Pretty much whenever you want. Kind of wild. Anyway, yeah, that's about all I got. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll be back tomorrow. Be good to yourselves. Be good to somebody else. And just kind of be good. Bye.